Hi, my creative artists. We are doing a super fun project today where we are making a sculpture. Everyone say sculpture. A sculpture is something that you can walk around. This piece of art looks different from every single direction that you look at it. And not to mention, it's not flat. Sculptures are 3D. We normally call drawings 2D and sculptures are 3D. Today you are going to be creating your own paper sculpture. The first thing you're going to want to do is write your name, class, and number on the front of your paper. We want to keep our name on the front because after we build it, we are not going to be flipping it over. Next thing that I'm going to introduce you to is our sculpture bingo. On this handy sheet are little questions I want you to answer. You'll see them here at the top. So, if you ride the bus to school, you need to create a red loop. If you love reading, you need to create a red spiral. If you can do a cartwheel, you get to create an orange pop-up. Has a sister? Orange tabs. Gone camping before? Green zigzag. So read through all of these, and by the end of everything, your sculpture is going to tell some things about you. We can decode it by looking at this handy key. But for now, I'm going to go through all of the 10 different ways that you can create your sculpture. The first one is what I'm calling the rainbow. With a thin piece of paper, you need to add feet to your rainbow. One on this side, one on the other, and apply glue to both of these little tabs or feet. Just a dot, not a lot. Today is your day to show off your great gluing skills. Then place your paper down, and you really have to hold your glue in order for it to stick. Hold it for maybe about 5 seconds, and then your rainbow should stand up straight. Next is a loop. With a loop, I'm taking a thin piece again, but this time I'm going to put a dot of glue on my paper. Put one end down, and then I'm going to loop the other side around, and then I can put a dot of glue where I want that second half of my loop to end. Loop. The next one we have is called tabs. The first step I do when I create tabs is I take a thicker piece of paper. This one was thicker than the other ones, and I'm going to fold it in half. Take my scissors and snip same size squares along one end. Then take your paper and flip over every other square or tab. And apply glue to every single one of your tabs. And then we can put it down onto our paper. It'll look like stitches or train tracks. The next one is called tube. I have done the same steps for tabs where I cut little sections, but this time, instead of flipping one or the other over, I am just going to curl them around and plop them down like this. But now I need to put glue on all of my sections. This one takes a little more patience to hold it in place while it's drying so that it doesn't snap back on you or undo the circle. See how it's starting to undo? I need to wait until my glue is all completely sticky. Boys and girls, what happens if I get too much glue on my paper? Should I grab a tissue, mop it all up? No, boys and girls. Let the glue dry. It'll be okay without a tissue. In fact, taking a tissue can sometimes make it worse. After tube is fringe. For fringe, I am going to fold a small little tab on top. This is where my glue will go. Then, taking my scissors, I'm going to cut like grass. Long snips. Also notice that I have picked a thicker piece of paper, a wider piece, to create my fringe so that I have more of a fun long fringe. After fringe is the wave. I think the wave is awfully fun. Apply a dot of glue to your paper and adhere the first end. Uh-oh, I got glue on my finger. What should I do? Should I run to the toilet, wash my hands? No, I can take the glue and just rub it in my hands until all that sticky dries up. And then I can keep working so that you don't have to go to the toilet more than once at the end of class. Take another dot of glue and put it a little bit further away. And press down your paper here. You're creating little rainbows, but many of them. Notice how I'm using both my hands to create my wave. I've put some glue and then put my glue down to use both my hands to stick my paper for my wave. Up next is stairs. Stairs ends up looking like an accordion. I'm going to take my paper and flip it back and forth into a little booklet. When I open it up, and it already has its feet that it can stand on. Boys and girls, your gluing today is going to make or break your project. Too much glue could be the disaster of your sculpture. Please, 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 be careful to only squeeze just a dot and not a lot. Next, zigzag. For zigzag, you actually need to do a little bit of cutting. Cut a zigzag on one side, and then repeat it on the other side. Notice how I'm using a thicker piece of paper to create my zigzag. That's so that I have plenty of paper to cut away from. Last, I need to give my zigzag some feet. Otherwise, how's it gonna stand up? Create some tabs on the end. Fold up and fold up. You guys are gonna have the coolest sculptures ever. And because these sculptures are going to be coded, people will have to read our code to figure out who we are and who made what piece. Spiral is super fun. I've started with a circle, which you know how to create already, and I'm taking my scissors and cutting, rotating, snipping, rotating, turning my paper as I go until I get to the middle. Now I've got a nice spiral. All you need to do is glue down this little bit. Don't glue down the whole thing. Otherwise, what's the point of this boingy bit? And last but not least, number 10 is the pop-up. I have already drawn a little something. It's up to you what to draw on a sheet of white paper. I'm going to take a piece of white and create a staircase or an accordion, just like the one we did before. This is going to be our spring to pop up our fun drawing that we created. Glue on both sides Take your pop-up, put it down, and then glue the other side to your paper. This one you really need to press and hold.